Hi there, this is Karen Grant, and this is my video assessment of a pre-dialysis patient for the hemodialysis course offered through Ontario Learn. Before I even see my patient, I look through the chart, I check for new orders, I look through the progress notes to find out how they did in previous runs, how they tolerated their previous runs, what their BP trends were, how much fluid was removed, any meds on the run, and also bleeding post-needle removal. I check recent blood work, and I review the dialysis prescription, the machine settings, the time, the parameters for alarms, the bicarb and sodium settings, the profile settings, any meds on the run, and what the anticoagulant is or isn't. Also the stop time, because in this case we're doing a fistula. I set up my tray for my patient, and I've got that over here. I've got my needles, I make sure I've got the right size. I've got my antimicrobial, my tourniquet, gauze, tapes, mask, and gloves. After I've got all that stuff ready, I go and get my patient. I confirm their identity through at least two ways. I ask them what their full name is.
Mary Margaret Taborek.
I ask them what their birth date is.
November 16th, 1966.
I should have that information in their chart, and so then I know that I've got the right person. I take my patient to the scale. We weigh them. If my patient is wearing any particular items of clothing that are a little heavier, but which they like to wear all the time, we would keep that recorded and subtract that from their weight. So today, Mary Margaret is 84 kilos, but her ideal weight is 80 kilos. She's also kind of a little bit short of breath. And as we head into dialysis, I ask her how she's feeling.
I'm feeling a little short of breath. I'm not feeling that great today.
Okay, I'm going to listen to her chest when we get there. Can you tell me, have you had any falls recently? Has anything happened that's different?
No, nothing.
You haven't hit your head?
No.
I'm asking this question because she's going to get anticoagulant on the run. Are you eating all right?
Yeah, appetite's pretty good.
Do you have any nausea or vomiting or diarrhea?
No.
I want to know that because that could affect her electrolytes. Have you had any chest pain?
No chest pain, but I have been short of breath.
Okay.
Just when I'm going up the stairs.
All right. And your energy level?
It's kind of medium.
Okay. How about your blood sugars?
Oh, I don't always check them. I think this morning's might have been 12.5.
Oh dear. Well, I've heard that you've been kind of thirsty in the past, and I see that you brought in 2 large glasses of water.
Yeah.
When your blood sugar's high, you can get kind of thirsty. Do you like to eat salty foods too?
Yeah, I crave those.
You really have to watch it with those, because the more salt you eat, then the more thirsty you get. You fill up with water, and because your kidneys don't function well, then you're going to collect all this water, and that ends up in your lungs and makes you short of breath. Can I take a look at your legs?
Sure.
Oh, I see you're a little bit edematous down here too. Okay, so do you mind, Mary, if I take a listen to your chest?
Sure.
Actually, while we're doing that, why don't we take your blood pressure? Oops. Alrighty. Oops, wrong arm. That's the fistula arm. Alrighty. Oh, this is a short tube. Okay, here we go, and we're gonna pretend that our dialysis machine is working, and we're gonna do a sitting blood pressure and a standing blood pressure. Okay, so while that's happening, I'm gonna have a quick listen to Mary's breathing. Take a big breath. And again. Okay. Now I'm just going to listen to your heart. I'm looking at a clock. Okay. Well, your heartbeat is a little bit fast, and I can hear crackles in your bases. That means that you probably have some fluid in there. Oh, I see that your blood pressure is pretty high. Yes, can we do a standing one? Okay, here we go. And it's done. My goodness, it's 187 on 98. And your your pulse is 105. I've also been watching how you've been breathing, and your respiratory rate is very high. It's 26. No wonder you're uncomfortable. We might even have to check your oxygen saturation. And if your oxygen saturation is less than 94, we could put nasal prongs on just when we start dialysis, because that will help Mary to cope with starting dialysis. And then as she loses the fluid, then she'll start to feel better and she won't need it by the end of the run. So now I would like to calculate my target. It looks like you've been able to do 2.5 liters on the run. I'd like to push you a little more today. I'm going to go for 3. But I also have to include the fact that you have 2 big glasses of water. So I'm going to say a total of 4, which will include 400 for on and off. I program this into the dialysis machine, and I'm thinking that I'm also going to put Mary on a profile. The profile I'm choosing is profile number 3. I really like this profile because it gives people a chance to adapt in between. The way it works is a rampart, so takes off a lot of fluid and then gives a rest. Takes off a lot of fluid and then gives a rest. So sometimes that is a good way for the, when it's not taking off a lot, for the body to adjust and give up a little more fluid. So that's what I'm going to program into the dialysis machine. So now that we've done that, I think it's time for us to assess Mary's arm. So I'm going to look at both of her arms and ask her if her fistula arm feels any different from her other arm.
Nope, they feel the same.
And do you have any trouble when you're on dialysis with pain or numbness or discomfort?
No.
Great. I'm looking at color. I'm feeling for temperature. Can we hold your arm up in the air? I'm just assessing for stenosis, but I don't see any of her fistula has flattened out nicely. Perfect. So, Mary, has there ever been any issues with needling you with some of the other nurses when you come in?
No, sometimes they don't quite get it the first time, but for the most part it's been pretty good.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take a quick look. Oh, okay. Let's get your feet up, and I'm going to take a quick look, put the tourniquet on. Okay, and have a look here and see where I'm going to put the needles in. I can see where the needles went in before, and so I want to follow the ladder technique because I don't want to keep needling in the same place. So I've picked my location, take the tourniquet off. I've got my antimicrobial. I'm going to clean the area. Oh, and one other thing I want to do, almost forgot. I'm going to listen for the bruit. Sounds good, and feel for the thrill. Okay, now I will clean the area, and we'll just wait for that to dry. Put a mask on. Gloves. if I have to do any blood work for Mary, and I would know that because I went through the chart before we started, I would have my blood work vials ready. Have my gauze ready. My first needle is my arterial needle, and that goes in lower. So put that in. Whoops, wait a minute. We got to put the tourniquet on. There. Okay, take my cap off and carefully thread my needle. Does that feel okay?
Yep.
Good. Okay. It's bleeding back. I'm going to clamp it. I'm going to tape it. I get my flush. I flush it. Take my tourniquet off. Give her arm a little break. And then when we're ready to go again, tourniquet on. My venous needle, which is above my arterial needle. Pick my spot there. In it goes. Everything feel okay?
Yep.
Really nice flash. Tape it. Let it bleed back. Get my syringe and flush it. Everything feel okay when it flushes?
Yep.
Okay, tourniquet. Okay, so I've got both my needles in. Turn my machine off. Make sure that all my connections are good, they're tight. Make sure that the level in the drip chamber is correct. And I take my arterial and venous line. What? Oh, yes. Okay. I'm going to hook those up. I'm going to prime through my needles I'm going to have it at 150, the QB, because I don't want to push things too hard. And I'm going to secure my needles a little bit better with tape, because I don't want those needles to fly out, especially the venous. Okay, so now the machine has detected blood. I'm going to slowly, over a couple of minutes, increase my QB to 400. Does everything feel okay, Mary?
Yeah, feels good.
Okay, terrific. So just to finish up, I feel that Mary is being underdialyzed. Her URR is subtherapeutic, and I think that her run time should be increased to 4 hours 3 times a week instead of 3 hours. And she may even benefit from just doing an ISO run or just a straight UF run this week to help get off some of that fluid. I think that's pretty much it. I've probably forgotten things, but I hope it's enough. Thank you for watching.